Okay, so the major points for improvement that I saw. So our team right now is going to start a push, right? We had just stopped being gatekept by a squad out in this direction of the map. And we spent some time looking for them and we did not find them. We are hearing fighting over here, right? And so our squad's going to make a push, right? We're gonna try and push in through here. The thing that we need to remain aware of is that this squad still has to trail us in. No matter how they like want to get to the ring, it is very likely, you know, just following the path of least resistance, they come down this direction, hear this fighting the same way we did, and probably follow us in. And so whatever happens over here on the right-hand side needs to happen quickly, very quickly. And it needs to end in such a way that we are not in a bad situation, right? So, because there's two squads, so let's think about the numbers, right? There's two squads fighting here, one squad following us in, right? There's us, total of 6 squads, so there's 2 squads remaining. And so like if we just like sort of like, you know, look at the rest of the circle, right? Like the rest of the circle is gonna look like that, right? And so like, you know, just like kind of like just like along like just, you know, on average, right? Like there'll be like one guy here and like one guy like here, or one enemy squad here, right? So this is like over by harvester and this is like more towards sorting is what we're looking at, right? So if we're looking at this, right? So then us pushing right here is probably going to cause trouble, right? These guys come in towards the fighting, looking to get a look at this. These guys come in towards the fighting to get a look at us. These guys come in towards the fighting somehow to get a look at that, right? And this like, and suddenly we are like basically at the center of all of this. And so whatever happens, right, we're on the clock because it's very possible, if not likely, that these other 3 squads will show up to this fight. And so whatever happens here, we need to resolve it quickly. Otherwise, we need to start looking for a different, better high ground position to hold down and lock down to sort of weather the oncoming storm.
Let's do it.
Can we take this roof?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So we secure the roof here, but there's actually a squad inside this building beneath us, as you'll see in a second here with the bloodhound scan. So that's like what makes this position non-viable. We get some free shots on this guy. Potentially, like being lethal here, like would have been better for us. As you can see, I did not sort of account for the fact that he was just going to break from cover like that. You know, I thought I like made a misjudgment. He wasn't going to peek again. I should have been starting up the track on him.
34 in his flesh, right there.
And so I like probably missed a chance to kill there.
No, don't go in there. Don't go in there. Don't go.
We've got a caustic inside, so he can't enter this building, right? And so like I'm not entering, like because my teammates, you know, screaming at me that they have a caustic, you know, which is totally fair. And so like I'm using like this corner here as well as my mastiff in order to like sort of see if I can like fish for like big damage, right? Any big damage on these guys, like a knock on these guys, knowing that their octane is weakened now and trying to run away into them will really set them back, right?
66
I'm
on.
batting. I'm batting. I'm batting. I'm batting.
55?
I'm batting.
And so like we don't quite find like enough, I think, to secure a knock here. And then the defensive nature of this enemy squad's competition, right? Like they defensively use a crypto ult, and they also use their caustic gas. And so those two things combined, you know, make it like really hard for us to be able to follow up on this damage and sort of like is their second chance, right? Now at this point, I think I picked the wrong door to try to aggress through, right? There are 3 doors that I can look at, right? There is this one here. This one here, and the one that's like on this side, way out here, right? Like this is on the other side of the building, and so caustic gas obviously is making it very difficult for me to push through here. Probably trying to walk through it doesn't end well for me, right? And aggressively void walking into a situation where I don't have a lot of prior knowledge doesn't seem like a great idea, right? There's still a squad over here and off in this direction, right? Squad 1 shooting down at this door. So this door here is like hard. This is a hard door to push, very difficult to push. And so my teammates somehow managed to make it work, but that is definitely not option 1 for me, right? And so probably what I needed to do was just climb up here, run along the top here, drop down, enter through that door over there, right? The one that doesn't have the caustic gas all over it. Also, they haven't seen anyone appear from that door in a while, and so it's like definitely gonna like throw them off, right? They know I'm over here, or at least they remember I'm over here, and so they're probably gonna come over here to check to make sure I'm not still over. So the error there, right, was not sort of like finding the most viable angle of attack and like being like as unpredictable as possible.
Oh fuck! Oh man.
That was definitely a surprise to me. Missing the stick was a
Don't
shame.
have a bat.
I'm inside. I'm inside.
Oh, you're inside.
I swap shields here, and I go back to this angle, right? And I'm waiting, right? My teammate is telling me that he's inside here. My other teammate is actively engaging the enemy from this risky angle over here that puts him between like the other squad and himself, right? Taking on the risk for our squad, right? And I'm like just standing here, like allowing myself to like get fended off by this caustic gas, hoping it'll expire sooner than it actually does. And so again, this is about being efficient with our time here, and I needed to just move to that other angle of attack. So that was like our second
I
error,
downed one. I
right?
downed.
I'm still inside. I'm still inside.
Two teams here.
The next error is going to be with the portal that I placed. So Pepega's calling out a new team is here, right? And so as I mentioned before at the very beginning, right, like we still have another squad that's going to very likely to follow us in through this direction here, right? So we can't go that way for our retreat. There's probably a squad somewhere out here in Sorting Factory, and there's, you know, the two squads. There's one here and the one that's inside the building that we're currently fighting, right? And so like we're in a situation like where we're like getting hemmed in by a lot of squads, and so we need to find a way out. And I'm pretty sure that our way out lies in this direction over here. So this port that you'll see me drop does a really poor job, I think, of accounting for the lines of sight that the other enemies are going to have, and consequently is not a viable retreat option for my teammates.
I'm going towards Sorting Factory. Port's down.
Right? Like that portal, like as you'll turn around and see,
Oh, I am not.
like
with
basically
you
like leaves them like high and dry. Like this piece of cover does nothing to protect them against these people here. So that's a really poor portal. The portal probably should have wound up over here. So that was the next error, was just the Frosty portal, where I drop a portal out in the middle of nowhere that kills my team. They don't take it, thankfully, which is good, but it was still definitely not a great play for me. Now I'm pinned behind this piece of cover. And so this is the fourth and final error that I make, right? Which is when I'm pinned behind this cover, there is nothing good that is going to happen because I run away in this opposite direction, right? I'm about to run in this direction. Nothing good happens here, right? I have practically no HP, no void walk. The enemy definitely has a line of sight on me, right? It would be very trivial to kill me right now with this amount of HP. And there's no cover in this direction, right? So if I run in this direction, I die. Right? I'm just running out into the open. I panic and I want to be away from this situation, which is why I do this. But this is not an effective way to address the fact that, you know, I'm like running out of options here. What I most likely needed to do was to stick this cover, right? As unpleasant as it is, probably do another cell if I can, right? And then take advantage of what few resources I do have. One of the really important ones here is the Arc Star. The Arc Star can be used to force the enemies to approach me from one side of the cover or to climb over it, right? To like cut off their options. And so their path of least resistance approach is like going to be like to come around the cover like this. So by throwing an Arc Star like here to cut them off or something like that, then they'll be forced to come around from this side of it, right? Potentially I might be able to step a little bit further over onto this right side of the cover here, like relative to the direction we're facing, and potentially get a little more time to do a cell. So that was the fourth and final error. So overall, you know, I feel like, and then you know, I die. Right?
Oh
Surprise.
no, I just needed to hold my cover. Fuck me. Yeah, there's an entire squad here. Don't take port.
I made it out.
Don't take port. Don't take port.
Gage, come to me.
And then they try to get away. Our bullet hound goes down. Pepega winds up being able to somehow escape and come over to me to do a
Oh, he got me.
revive. Like I tell him to go this way to get to me, like this, but he's telling me he can't because that other enemy squad's there. So yeah. So overall, like I think just like sort of like a lack of foresight. Like we knew it was going to happen, right? But we just sort of like let like this short-term like distraction get the better of us, and then yeah. So that's pretty much that. I'm going to switch over